In Community Matters, it's a fight to revitalize West Fresno.
Residents there say they could be on the brink of getting the money they need to improve their troubled community. And tonight in a KSEE 24 special report, Gregory Woods shows us what money they could get and why they are concerned it may be taken away from their neighborhood. Greg?
Well, Evan, last year, $70 million was awarded to the city of Fresno by the governor because of the 93706 zip code in West Fresno. It's considered the #1 polluted area in the state. Now, residents said they were hoping to see serious investment in the community until they realized there's no stipulation requiring the money to be spent in their neighborhoods. Southwest Fresno is a historically black community that hasn't seen much investment.
You know, if there's stuff you need to do, you got to leave the community to do it.
Longtime resident Mary Curry says it has caused high crime and poverty.
It's very difficult for people to pull themselves up if they're caught up in a situation where there's housing is not right, jobs are not available.
That's because for decades, the west side was zoned as industrial.
If you wanted to put houses at a certain place in Southwest Fresno, it was not zoned appropriately. You would have to pay a lot of money to change the zoning, to do the environmental studies.
Westside City Council member Oliver Bain says that process could cost $500,000.
So not only do we have the bad stigma of being Southwest Fresno, but in a very real way, our projects actually cost more to do here than they did in other parts of the city.
That's why in December, City Council unanimously passed the Southwest Specific Plan. It removed the industrial zoning regulations.
You may see an old zoning that may have been, heavy industrial. Well, now it's business.
Because of that plan, a community college is now in the works to be built on this lot, across from Gaston Middle School. And an unfinished portion of the old Running Horse golf course will soon become single-family homes.
With this new plan, they're going to be forced to have to take some real serious actions about bringing this area up to par.
Last year, the governor signed his Transformative Climate Communities bill in Fresno. It puts $140 million towards creating density and cleaner air in heavy impoverished areas. $70 million was awarded to Fresno because the west side is considered the #1 polluted area in the state. Curry hoped with the Southwest Specific Plan and this money, they'd finally get the investment they desperately need.
Why does it have to be centered specifically around high-speed well?
In a hearing at St. Res Baptist Church with Randall Winston, who's on the Sacramento team that handles the money, residents found out the state stipulates it must be used within a 1-mile radius of the bullet train hub to be built on Mariposa and 8th Street. That leaves out the majority of the 93706 zip code.
Since it was based on the poverty level in this community, then it certainly ought to be spent to improve the quality of life in this community.
I'm not saying she doesn't have valid concerns, she does. But in my opinion, it's a short-sighted approach.
The mayor of Fresno believes most of the money should be used downtown. He says it will bring in new business, which will bring in new long-term revenue that could be used to revitalize the west side and the entire city.
The shopping centers, the pharmacies, the grocery stores, it will come.
I heard at one meeting as they said, well, once we do that, it's going to be a domino effect. Then that would bring other people in. Well, I've been over here for 30 years, and there's been no domino effect.
Residents at the hearing spent 2 hours trying to convince Winston that if the state doesn't change its regulations, their community will be left out and not receive any investment at all.
And we're still finalizing the guidelines, and so there is absolutely hope, and we're going to take those comments into consideration.
Curry hopes Winston convinces the board to change their policy so her community can get a much-needed makeover.
You can't continue to count poor people, gain funds, and then go spend it somewhere else.
For those interested, there will be a community meeting on the draft of the Southwest Fresno Specific Plan. It's happening this Wednesday at Gaston Middle School from 5:30 to 7 o'clock at night. Residents will also find out if the high-speed rail 1-mile radius stipulation will be taken out of the guidelines when the final draft is released, and that's expected to happen sometime late June, sometime early July.
And the reason that the high-speed rail is tied into this is because this is based on poverty is one thing, but also pollution, right? And they see high-speed rail as It's kind of an antidote to something like that?
Exactly, but the residents say if the money was received because of the west side, which is the #1 polluted area in the state, then they think the majority of the money should go there. So there's kind of this debate between if the investment should go into West Fresno, or as the mayor said, if it should go downtown, and then that'll bring in new tax revenue that could be used for the whole entire city.
You can certainly understand their frustration.
Absolutely. Greg, thanks so much. Great story. We appreciate it.